Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be at in the world. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's podcast. Listen, go ahead and hit that like, love, share button, and also follow button. If you're not following me on social media, make sure that you're following me. The Pivot to Your Purpose podcast is an amazing podcast. It's inspirational, it's transformational, it's faith based. You're going to be able to just relate, pull out nuggets that will literally, if you implement them and if you execute them, it will definitely transform your life. So, again, welcome, welcome, welcome for those who are tuned in on tonight. I always can count on this girl right here, Sherry Dawson Williams, my big sister, one of my greatest supporters. She is on and she is saying good evening. And I see some more of you all who are tuned in on tonight. So make sure that you all chime in. Okay, y'all know I love to recognize my guests, and one of the ways that I can recognize you and shout you out is basically you got to comment in the comment section. All right, and those who are watching on YouTube, if you're not connected on Facebook, make sure that you're sharing, if you can, the podcast as well. So, Sherry, I have a duty for you to do. Make sure that dad can view this on YouTube, okay? So make sure that he is on. Also, Brianna is on. She stated, good evening. Good evening, Brianna. Thank you so much for tuning in on tonight. I know you always, you're going to be in the chat as well. So listen, tonight is going to be a great conversation, okay? Hopefully you all will be able to pull from this conversation and participate in this conversation. Tonight, our topic is God, there has to be more. So, this conversation is going to basically be streamed from my pivot framework. And basically, the pivot framework, it has various categories that I focus on. And the pivot framework help individuals move from pain to purpose by helping them identify and get more clarity, gain confidence, and also shift their mindset so they can really identify what their purpose is and provide them with an aligned strategy. So this conversation tonight will be gleaned part from the pivot framework. So let's jump right into our subject on tonight. So let me go ahead and read these other comments before I jump in. Sherry stated, I already shared the video via YouTube with him. Thank you so much, because dad is sometimes he like, listen, y'all forgot to remind me. So thank you so much. Brianna stated, God, there has to be more. Yes, yes, yes. Caleb said, hello, auntie. Hello, Caleb. Thank you so much for tuning in on tonight. So listen, I know we hear this topic, there are seasons in our life. And sometimes that topic can be a little cliche, but really there are certain seasons that we face in our life. And it seems as if we become stuck and we say to ourselves, God, there has to be more. You may be in a season of disappointment and you're trying to figure out, okay, God, what is next for me? Some individuals may be in a season where they have experienced loss. So you're trying to identify again, what is there for me? I mean, it seems as if I am maybe accomplishing some goals and not accomplishing some other goals, and I just feel stuck. And we all have been there. So, for transparency, I have been there. But one of the things I want to talk to you all about tonight is how to really get in a place where you're having a conversation with God so he really can illuminate and show you what is next for you in your life. So tonight, one of the things, as I stated, our conversation is gleaned from the pivot framework. So if you have not visited my new website, make sure that you go on the website to find out exactly what the pivot framework entails. But tonight we're going to be pulling from the letter P. So P stands for pinpointing the real problem that is holding you back. Okay. And sometimes in this season that we feel like there has to be more, one of the things that we are lacking or we're in the mindset of is feeling unfulfilled, right? Some of you all are in careers. Some of you all are small business owners. Maybe you are retired. There may be a different category that each person or each viewer may be in. And you may get to a point where you're feeling unfulfilled. Okay. So you get to a place in your life where apparently, okay, I'm gonna show this on the screen. You reach a place in your life where you feel successful. You look successful on the outside, but on the inside, there is a disconnect. You feel like, okay, I've accomplished this. I'm making money here. I'm in this career. I'm doing this business. I'm retired, but something just is missing. So when you get to that place in your life, one of the main things that you have to do, you have to sit in a quiet space and you have to ask God. You have to pinpoint what the real problem is. You have to ask God, God, reveal to me what is it in my life that I should be doing. Just because you have a title, maybe in your career or a title in your business, a title within your family, those are just titles. But sometimes that emptiness that is on the inside may be that you're not really working or fulfilling the purpose that he has called you or created you for. Now, you may say to yourself, okay, Lenora, you're doing all this talking. What is purpose? I'm going to identify what is purpose, but let me identify these comments, okay? All right. All right, my husband is on. He says, hello, my beautiful wife. Hello, my handsome husband. Thank you so much for tuning in. He stated she's truly gifted. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I know you out working hard, but thank you so much for tuning in and for those very endearing comments. All right. So, again, you may say to yourself, okay, there is something that is still missing. So that void may, as I stated, may be that you're really not doing exactly what God has called you to do. So what is purpose? Purpose is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. Irregardless of what society or mainstream media may say, we all were created for a purpose. There is a reason for our existence. When God created heaven and when he created the earth, everything has had its purpose. And I just want to point out this here, just like he created the trees, right? The trees serve multiple purposes. The trees provide us with oxygen. The trees are cut down to provide wood, furniture. People utilize it to burn so it can provide them heat in the winter months. Also, trees produce fruit. Trees also serve a purpose for certain animals where they basically build their nests. So a tree has its purpose. God created the trees. So with us as well, he created us for a purpose. So if you're not really operating in your purpose in totality, you will feel as though there is a certain void that is there in your life. Okay? So let's read these comments here to see who have jumped in on the conversation. All right. Roderick is on. He said, good evening. Good evening, Roderick. Thank you so much for tuning in. Brianna stated, yes, we all were created for a purpose. Absolutely. Melissa is on. Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, y'all, again, make sure that you're engaging in the conversation. I would love to hear your feedback on any of the pointers that I have already covered or anything that you would like to inject into the conversation as well. Brianna stated, I was not created to work a 9 to 5, though. I believe that to the core. Listen, if that is how you feel, and Brianna, if you have sat with God and ask God, okay, God, reveal to me, is a 9 to 5 something that you actually want me to be doing? And if he says to you, Brianna, no, a 9 to 5 is not what I have created you for. This is what I have created you for. And this is the blueprint so that you won't feel unfulfilled. This is the blueprint that I need for you to follow in order for you to feel as if you are working your purpose. Now, on the flip side of the coin, if God have spoken to you and say, Brianna, I know what you say in regards to a 9 to 5. But he'll give you a heart desire, but I'm just giving you both sides of the coin. If he said, Brianna, I know what you said, that you were not created for a 9 to 5. But Brianna, there are some people that I have strategically put in your place for you to reach, for you to touch, for you to impact. Guess what? It may be for you to work that 9 to 5 for an extended period of time. So the biggest thing is we have to make sure that we are sitting with God and ask God to reveal to us, what is your plan for my life? I know there is more. Why? Because I feel that there is still a emptiness there, and only he can fill that emptiness. Okay. All right. So great conversation already. Hello, Marjorie Oates Andrews is on. She said, I know I was created for a purpose. You guys work as a servant. Listen, we all were created by God to service him. And with us servicing him, we all can operate in the capacity or with the title as a servant. But are we truly serving him and serving those that he have assigned for us to service if we're not working in our purpose? I know there is more. So I'm going to keep saying this throughout this podcast. You have to get in a quiet place and ask him, what is it that you have created me for? Yes, a lot of you all are in careers. You're flourishing in your careers. You're doing great things in your career. But still, on the inside, there is something that is missing. All right. Marjorie also stated, created for God's work. Absolutely. Brianna said, yes, I shall. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brianna. Yes, when you sit with him, he's going to reveal it to you. And then another thing that I have been focusing on and teaching in ministry is that whenever you are sitting with God, he will speak to you on who to connect with and who to talk to help guide you and help unpack what your purpose is when you know that there is more in your life. Some of you are battling depression and you're like, Lord, I know life is not just full of depression. I want to be out of this state of depression. So what is it? How can I emerge from this space of being depressed or oppressed or in a mindset of negativity all the time? So he may lead you to someone that will provide you with wise counsel, wise guidance, wise coaching to help unravel and birth the purpose that he has created you for. Okay? All right, got some hands going on there. Yes, don't forget to send those stars, thumbs up, check marks, and hearts. And if you can, go ahead and send this link to your family and your friends. I'm sure they can benefit from this conversation. What is my purpose? Absolutely, Sherry. I hope you know what your purpose is. Okay? All right. So as I stated, purpose is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. We have Keosha Haywood is on. She said, I think that finding our purpose is a lifetime journey. We can think it's one thing when is something totally different. As you stated, we can be thriving in a certain area and still feel as if there is something missing. Absolutely, Kiosha. It is a lifetime journey because maybe in certain seasons, God may utilize us in different ways. But catch this, it all will go back to what our purpose is. It all will link back to what our purpose is. But He may have us operating in a different vein or different variations or in different environments utilizing our purpose. He will. He definitely will do that. All right. Brianna stated so true. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kiosha, for that. That was really, really good. Okay. So there are certain things that we will say, okay, I know there is more, as I alluded to this earlier, after a loss. Some of you all have had loss of relationships, loss of friendships, loss of loved ones. After the loss, you're saying to yourself, okay, what's next? And sometimes we try to stay so occupied in doing, and going. And we feel like occupying and staying busy is fulfilling that void of the loss that we just experienced. But as I always state, we have to sit with some things, sit with that loss, acknowledge that loss, and ask God, God, where do I go from here? Show me. Where do I go from here? Okay. Another thing, many of you have experienced burnout. You burn out with your job. Some of y'all who are on your 9 to 5, you're like, I'm really tired of this. Okay. So you ask God, okay, God, where do I go from here? What is next? I know there is more. So then you have to ask God, okay, God, how do you want me to pivot? I'm doing this job now. Seems as if my time is up. It seems as if I have given all that I can give in this capacity. So what is next for me? You ask the Lord to lead you and guide you. Right? We have to acknowledge Him in all of our ways. And if we acknowledge Him in all of our ways, guess what He's going to do? The scripture does not lie. He will direct our path. But sometimes we don't want to acknowledge Him. We want to get within ourselves and say, it's time for me to move on. We jump from this to go. Basically, you jump out of the, as I say, jump out of the pot into the fire. But no, we want to continue to work in our purpose, work in our destiny. So if it is time for you, because you're burnt out on your 9 to 5, burnt out in this area, you ask the Lord, okay, Lord, what is the next step? Show me, and I am willing to follow. We have to be willing to follow after He have given us the instructions on what to do next. Okay. Some of you have experienced disappointment. Oh my goodness. Disappointment. Disappointed by family members, disappointed on your job, disappointed in business. Disappointment in different arenas. So when you experience disappointment, you say to yourself, God, I know there is more. When we are in a season maybe of disappointment and the season have changed who you are, you have to say, okay, what is this revealing? What is God revealing to me? Not all the time like, why am I here? Why me? Listen, all of us have been through something in our life. All of us have experienced some type of loss. All of us have experienced some type of burnout. All of us have experienced some type of disappointment. All of us can say, you know what? I have experienced betrayal. But irregardless of what we have experienced, we have to ask God, God, what are you trying to reveal to me in this season? And how do I pivot from this place that I'm currently in? He does not want us to stay in a mindset of feeling like we're burnt out. He don't want us to stay in a mindset of disappointment or a mindset of depression or in a negative mindset. That's not his will for us. But when we experience certain things in life, we have to ask, what is this revealing? What are you trying to reveal to me? What are you trying to extract? Are you trying to build my character? Are you trying to build my faith? Are you trying to give me more wisdom, knowledge on how to deal with certain situations? What is it revealing? Okay, we got some more questions, comments coming in. All right. Red X is on. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in, brother. And he said facts. So he is agreeing with what has been stated. Shay Dawson said, absolutely, there is more. Kiosha said, this is awesome. I'm heading to my son's basketball practice. Keep doing the awesome work. Hopefully I can tune in next time. Great work. Thank you so much, Kiosha, for even joining us and tuning in and sharing your comments. All right. Brianna stated, we have to ensure everything goes back to Jesus. I love this. Absolutely. Everything is tied back to him. Everything ties back to him. He came on this earth that we may have life and have it more abundantly. And we have to always say, God, whatever your will is for my life, allow it to be revealed in me so that you are glorified. So sometimes when you ask people, how did you do this? How did you make it through that storm? How did you go through grief and you're still able to function? You know what generally people say? It was God. It all goes back to him. He was their sustainer. He provided them with the strength. He realized, yes, they experienced some hurt, but at the end of the day, they did not lose their faith. And that's a big one. So God, I know there is more. All right. Sherry tagged someone. Red said, amen. Brianna stated, faith, waiting, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. These are things that all of us should desire, especially when we are in a season of transition. Because sometimes when we are experiencing difficult things in life, we have a tendency of moving on to something else before we are totally healed. And guess what we do? We take that hurt. If it's in a relationship, we take that hurt to the next relationship. Why? Because we have not fully healed. So it's important to pinpoint the first letter in the pivot framework is to pinpoint what is the real problem. I'm hurting. I'm going to heal. I need the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding to help me identify through having a conversation with God what is next for me in my life. That is so important. Okay? So keep the comments coming in. All right? But we're going to go to a short commercial break. Luxury isn't just a look, it's a feeling. And every moment deserves to be captured in its most timeless form. At Bougie Brie Photography, confidence meets the camera. Every pose, every detail becomes unforgettable. Whether you're stepping in front of the lens or into the spotlight, your beauty becomes cinematic, transformed into visuals that move you. And when it's time to celebrate, strike, smile, shine. Our luxury photo booth turns every event into a bold, unforgettable experience. Your story is more than a moment. It's artistry. It's emotion. It's you, captured with intention and elevated with elegance. So whether it's photography,
videography, or a high-end photo booth, let's create something iconic. Book your luxury experience today. Bougie Brief Photography, where your confidence meets the camera.
So, y'all, make sure that you support Bougie Brief Photography. She does an amazing job with pictures. Okay. So, let's jump back into this amazing conversation. Sherry said, Cousin Letsy Bass stated, excellent presentation. Hello, Cousin Letsy. Thank you so much for your compliment. I really appreciate that, Cousin. I definitely do. Tiffany Quick is on. Hello, Tiffany. Girl, you came in here real quick. I didn't even see you coming. She said, hello, Lenora Laster. Thank you so much for that. All right. And she also stated, we have to be in the will of God, right? And then pray for the fortitude to stay in his will and accept whatever that might be. Oh my goodness. That is so important and so deep. You're absolutely correct, Tiffany. That last part is something that sometimes it is hard for us as humans to do. And that is to accept whatever that might be. So I'm sure y'all have heard a song, and part of the song says, accept what God allows. That is sometimes the most difficult thing for us, because when certain situations happen in our life, tragedy, death, some people may be dealing with financial issues, some people may be dealing with family issues, right? Relationship issues, issues on your job. And you're like, what in the world? And it may be a season for you if you are on a job. Let's take it from there. Like I said earlier, it may be a season for you where you feel like it's time for me to go. But he was like, no, there's something else that I want to teach you in this season. And once you have learned that lesson, then he allows you to make the pivot to what is next. So even in whatever situation we are in, we have to ask the Lord, pinpoint exactly what it is, as I said earlier, that you're trying to teach me and let me know. Sherry stated, waiting can be the most hardest thing to do. It is one of the most hardest things to do, but it's necessary when we know that there is more. And if God has promised you more, we have to wait until the more manifests. The waiting part, if I can be quite honest, and I think I can speak for a few people, or should I say a lot of people, is the most irritating part of the process. It's irritating. Why? Because we want what we want right then and there. But we have to ask God, what is it that you want what are you revealing to me? And allow me to work in my purpose, not abort the purpose for my life. Not say, I can't fulfill this purpose. It's too hard for me. Just think about biblical wise, because Moses had a speech impediment. Because he basically tried to make that as an excuse. I can't lead these people. I can barely speak. You know what God said? Say less, Moses. One, I did not call you for your speaking ability. I called you because I needed you. Right? Then God came back to him again and say less, because you have a brother and his name is Aaron. So even though you can't speak that well, guess what? I will help you by allowing Aaron to accompany you on this journey, and he'll help speak for you in the areas that I need for him to speak in. So when we try to make an excuse, God was like, no. I just need you. I need for you to follow the plan. Because why? Moses had to lead thousands and thousands and thousands of people out of Egypt. So He called him specifically for a purpose. And if he called him, guess what? He's calling you. Because we got to realize this: Moses grew up amongst the Egyptians, but Moses finally figured out, I'm not an Egyptian, I'm a Hebrew. I know there is more. So God, what is more? And God said, okay, I need to use you. So I need to send you on an assignment. Okay? So I just want to point that out. All right. So yes, Sherry, waiting can be the most hardest thing for us to do. Tiffany said, we have to be. Okay, I read that already. Okay. All right. Joshua stated, you're definitely hitting on it, something. Thank you so much for that. Sherry stated, she just had her Christmas photos. So she's talking about the commercial. Okay. Bougie Brick Photography, LLC. And she's welcoming people to the platform. So thank you so much, Dewana, for joining. And thank you, Crystal, for joining. Oh, y'all, listen, we have one of the most amazing realtors that is on tonight. Corey is on. She said, this is so good and needed. Corey is an amazing realtor up in the Charlotte, Mecklenburg County area, and she is on the podcast tonight. Thank you so much, Corey. I count it an honor that you joined in on tonight. So, Corey, I can't speak for you, but I can only say this. You're in real estate. Yes, you're helping people find homes. You're helping people sell their home. And sometimes, which I know personally, real estate, it can cause you to feel burnout sometimes. So you still have to look within yourself, sit within yourself and ask God, God, I know I'm doing real estate. I know I'm helping people find their forever home, but what is it really that you have called me to do? I want to live out my purpose in totality. And what a lot of people don't realize is that we can work in duality, meaning we can work in our career and we still can work in our purpose. But oftentimes, what leads us or allow us to feel unfulfilled is when we're working our career, but we're really not working our purpose. And those are duality things. Or you can strictly be working totality in your purpose. So I hope that made sense. Okay. Sherry stated, absolutely, God will pivot us to our purpose. Joshua stated, yes, death is hard to accept. It is very hard. It's very hard. And I can say this because as you being my brother and as us losing our mother, that was one of the most hardest things that our family ever experienced in our life. And I've shared this before and I'll say it again. I felt like my purpose had ended when my mother left this earth. I was like, okay, I lost my best friend. Okay, God, you can have me too. That's how I felt. But I had to realize that my purpose here on this earth was not finished. Her purpose was completed. She did everything that she was sent here on this earth to do. And with myself, because my purpose have not been fulfilled yet, I'm not, I can say, okay, I'm ready. That don't make me leaving out of here anytime soon. I have to fulfill and complete my purpose. Why? Because there are people that I have to reach. I still have my family here that needs me as well. So yes, death is hard to accept, Joshua, but at the end of the day, we have to still say within ourselves, God, I know there has to be more, and allow that more, which is my purpose, to be revealed in me. Okay? Because none of us was sent here on this earth to live forever. We were sent here to live for a certain extended period of time. And with that time, the allotment of that time is that we were sent here for a reason. Just like I gave y'all the analogy of the trees and how the trees serve in multiple purposes: wind, oxygen, food, habitat is serving its purpose. If a cedar wood tree, an apple tree, an orange tree, bananas grow on a tree, I don't know. But if those different trees serve their purpose here on this earth, we got to serve ours. Okay. I think that I hit the nail on the head with that one. Sherry's welcoming. Welcome, Yashika. Thank you so much for joining in. Sherry said, absolutely, brother. Woo. I I agree. She agreed. Okay. And Yashika said very irritating. And what she was saying is very irritating is when I said that waiting part is one of the most irritating components and awaiting the manifestation of what God has for our life. Lord knows we want it what? NOW. Now, not tomorrow, next week. We want it right now. But that now may come 4 weeks from now, 4 months from now, 4 years. But if he made you a promise, he made you a promise. Okay. Tiffany stated, accept his timeline. Yes. She said, I went from a TA, teacher assistant, for Cumberland County Schools, that's what CCS, to earning my master's and now working for FSU. And it didn't happen overnight. But you know what? You went through the process, Tiffany. And you know what your story is going to do? It is going to help another young lady, another young man, another older lady, another older man who may be in a similar situation like you. And they're like, you know what? I'm tired of being a school bus driver. I want more. And you can tell them, listen, say less. I understand what you're going through. Your story is going to be relatable to give them hope, to give them courage. See, that's why I stated we don't go through things just for our own selves and feel like, okay, God, why are you punishing me? I'm in this TA role, making this little bit of money, da 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 this. But look how you went through this entire process, and now you can tell someone else, you don't have to stay a bus driver forever. This is what I did to get where I am now. So guess what? Now you're a hope dealer. You're dealing them a hand of hope. You're dealing them a hand of resiliency. So now you're a resilience dealer. You're dealing them a sense of faith. Okay, if she did it, my goodness, I can do this thing too. Right? So that's important. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Jay said, irritating. Come on, Jay. Definitely. Lord have mercy, y'all. Even though I'm on this podcast and I'm talking to y'all about these things, guess what? I'm being real with y'all. The reason why I say irritating, because I felt irritation. Still doing some things feel irritation because we know the gifts that we have on the inside, the talents that we have on the inside. It's like, okay, God, what are you doing up there? I know you're not playing checkers and Monopoly and chess. What are you doing? You got all these angels. Can't you send them on assignment? Are they just sitting there too? No. He's revealing something in us, and he wants us to trust and wait on him. Okay. Joshua said, having patience is definitely a task. It absolutely is a task. A real task. Okay. Jashika said, exactly. God already knows our imperfections before he assigned a task to us. Trusting God in challenging times. So profound. Okay. Jay said, I don't want to go. Just leave me here. I got you, Jay. You ain't trying to go nowhere. You want to stay right here. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, Caleb said, amen, auntie. Thank you so much. All right. Sherry is saying, welcome. She's welcoming all of y'all. Welcome, Corey. Welcome, Jay. Yes. Harold said, good stuff. Hey, honey. And Corey said, hey, girl, I need this. You had me at the title. Thank you so much, Corey. Again, thank you. Jay stated, he think I'm stronger than I really am. Take me off the front line. I'm tired, boss. Listen, Jay, Do you know there's other people that feel just like you? Listen, 2026 is coming. Take me off the front line. Can I get a break? I mean, can I play, chess checkers and just sit on the side at the beach and watch the waves go, go over to Hawaii, go to Bali and all these other places? Where's my money at? That's what a lot of us saying, where is that at? Where some of you are single, where is my husband at? Where is my wife at, God? Listen, I'm tired of doing this thing solo. Where they at? I'm tired of being on the front lines. Can I just be on the back a little bit? And he like, you know what? I understand your feeling. I understand your frustration. But there's some things I'm still working on in you. Right? Just like Tiffany gave her story. She was a TA, but look how she moved. She progressed. She didn't regress or digress. She went forward. So we just got to trust the process. And as Sheikah said, his timeline. Because, honey, let me tell you something. We can pout, we can complain, but one thing we can't do is change his timeline. Sherry said, who are you telling? Okay, right. So Jay said she prepared y'all well, though. She was a gem and did the good and righteous work. She absolutely did. She did, but God knows I missed that woman. Okay. And send me some of them gold robes. Oh, Lord. Hey, Daddy. You're watching. Awesome, Daddy. Love it. Okay, Jay said, right. Send somebody else to do it. I'm seriously. She could say, come on now. Yes, Lord. Okay. I mean, where are you at? Y'all, we having a good discussion, okay? Now I'm going to talk about this. Sometimes we can be in misalignment. Ooh. The road may be rocky in certain areas of our life because we are misaligned, meaning out of alignment. Try driving a car and your tires are out of alignment. That thing gonna be shaking. Hopefully you won't have a blowout. Hopefully you don't have a flat tire. So it's so important, even with our lives, that we ask God, God, please let me make sure that my ways and my will and my desires align with you, because it seems like I'm kind of going in circles here. So if I'm going in circles, am I out of alignment? Possibility. You're misaligned. You're not in alignment with him. So you have to ask, okay, what is it that I need to do? Self-evaluation. You have to have that meditation and talk to him. Show me. And I'm going to tell y'all, irregardless of what people say, he does speak to you. He can speak to you in a dream. He can speak to you in a vision. He can speak to you in a non-audible voice where you just hear, like, it may sound like you, but it's not you. He's just talking to you. He may speak to you through a person, a stranger that you don't even know. He will speak and let you know, okay, daughter, son, because we are sons and daughters, right? You're out of alignment. We got to get in alignment, okay? All right. I want to say this and I'm going to read the other comment. You can be successful and still be disconnected from your purpose. I touched on that earlier. And when you are not connected with your purpose, guess what happens? That's where that void is. Okay? You can be productive and still be spiritually empty. A lot of you all are doing things and you are in certain areas, but it feels as if you are basically spiritually empty. Okay? All right. So Corey said, oh, that was good. So listen, y'all, we're going to wrap it up. But I thank y'all so much for tuning in. It was a good conversation. We're going to continue this series. Okay? So make sure that you join me in 2 weeks and we'll continue this conversation. You all have an amazing night.